You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 464, covering week 19, May 4th to 10th, 2026. QBitTorrent 5.2.0 has been released, a torrent client written using the Qt toolkit and developed as an open-source alternative to muTorrent with a similar interface and functionality. QBitTorrent features include an integrated search engine, RSS subscription, support for many BEP extensions, remote control via a web interface, a sequential download made in a preset order, advanced settings for torrents, peers, and trackers, a bandwidth scheduler and IP filter, a torrent creation interface, and support for UPnP and NAT-PMP. The project is written in C++ and distributed under the GPL v2+ license. Builds are available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Release 2026.90 of the Dropbear project has been published, an SSH server and client popular in wireless routers and compact distributions like OpenWRT. Dropbear boasts low memory consumption, the ability to disable unnecessary functionality at build time, and support for building the client and server in a single executable similar to BusyBox. When statistically linked with UCLibc, the Dropbear executable is only 110 kilobytes in size. Dropbear supports X11 forwarding, is compatible with the OpenSSH key file, and can create multi-connections with forwarding through a transit host. The project's code is written in C and is distributed under an MIT-like license. OmniOS Community Edition R151058 has been released. It is based on the work of the Illumos project, which continues to develop the OpenSolaris kernel, network stack, file systems, drivers, libraries, and core system utilities. OmniOS is notable for its support for the Beehive and KVM hypervisors, the Crossbow virtual network stack, the ZFS file system, and lightweight Linux container launchers. The distribution can be used for building scalable web systems, virtualization, and storage systems. Toaru OS 2.3 has been released, a Unix-like operating system written from scratch and shipped with its own kernel, bootloader, standard C library, package manager, user space components, and graphical interface with a compositing window manager. The project was initially developed at the University of Illinois as a research project into creating new compositing graphical interfaces, but transformed into a standalone operating system. The project's code is written in C and is distributed under the BSD license. A live image is available for download and can be tested in QEMU, VMware, or VirtualBox. Toaru OS is based on a kernel that utilizes a hybrid modular architecture, combining a monolithic core with support for loadable modules. These modules implement most of the available device drivers, including disk drivers, ext2, and ISO 9660 file systems, frame buffer, keyboard, mouse, network card, sound chips, and VirtualBox guest add-ons. The kernel supports Unix threads, TTYs, virtual file systems, the pseudo file system /proc, multi-threading, IPC, RAM disk, ptrace, shared memory, multitasking, and other common features. MyLibrary 5.0, a home library catalog, has been released. The program code is written in C++ and is available in the GPL v3 license. The graphical user interface is implemented by using the Qt6 library. The program is compatible with both Linux and Windows operating systems. MyLibrary catalogs book files in FB2, EPUB, PDF, DJVU, ODT, text, and MD formats, both directly accessible and packed into archives, and creates its own database without modifying the original files or changing their location. The FBD format is also available for cataloging. The FBD format can store any files, not just books. Collection integrity and change control are monitored by creating a database of file and archive hash sums. MyLibrary can work with collections located on an external server. The corresponding folders and files must be accessible via the SMB protocol and mounted on the local computer using GVFS, KIO Fuse, or their equivalents. Stefan Graeber announced the release of Incus 7.0 LTS, a community-created fork of the LXD container and virtual machine management system created after the original project was acquired and licensed by Canonical. The project's code is licensed under the Apache 2.0 license. An online demo is available for review. Incus 7.0 LTS will be supported until June 2031. The first 2 years will see the release of patches containing bug fixes and minor improvements. Then the project will transition to a maintenance phase with only critical vulnerabilities fixes. The current branch of Incus 6.0 LTS has been transitioned to support mode, with only security-related fixes being released. M.A. Muqtadir presented the first results of an experiment to recreate the Unity user interface using modern GNOME stack components and the Wayland protocol. The demonstrated prototype is built on the Wayfire compositing manager, which uses Wayland and enables the creation of lightweight user interfaces with 3D effects in the style of Compiz 3D plugins. The sidebar, top bar, pop-up dialogues, and dash interface for navigating through installed applications are implemented using the GTK4-layer-shell add-on and widgets provided by the libadwaita library. Valve has released designs, models, and design data for the Steam Controller Case and Steam Controller Puck Dock. The data is available in STP and STL formats and is licensed under a CC BY NC SA 4.0 license, which permits copying, distribution, use in projects, and creation of derivative works. As long as attribution is given, the license is preserved, and use is for non-commercial purposes only. A minor release of the OpenWRT 25.12.3 distribution developed for network devices such as routers, switches, and access points has been released. OpenWRT supports over 2,200 devices and offers a build system that simplifies cross-compilation and the creation of custom builds. These builds allow for the creation of ready-to-use firmware with a desired set of pre-installed packages optimized for specific tasks. Ready-to-use builds have been published for 41 target platforms. Ubuntu Touch 24.04-1.3, a firmware update based on Ubuntu 24.04, has been released. The firmware is being developed by the UBports project. The Ubuntu Touch 24.04-1.3 update will be released soon for a growing number of cell phones. It primarily fixes bugs that caused issues with launching GTK4 programs, placing X11 windows, playing voice messages sent via MMS, and scaling the output of some Qt applications. A freeze during shutdown that occurred on some devices has been resolved. Support for launching X11 programs outside the Lomiri environment has been added. Improved interaction with docks that provide input devices such as NextDock. On a side note, the development of Ubuntu Touch 24.04-2.0 has been announced. The most notable improvement will be an update to the Morph web browser, which will be migrated from Qt Web Engine 5.15.19 based on the outdated Chromium 87 engine to the modern Qt 6.x stack. Since many programs in Ubuntu Touch remain based on Qt 5, Ubuntu Touch 24.04-2.0 will ship both Qt 5 and Qt 6, which will result in an increased system image size which may not fit into the operating system reserved partition on some supported devices. The Hyperland 0.55 compositing server is now available using the Wayland protocol. The project focuses on tiling windows but also supports classic freeform window placement, tabbed window grouping, pseudo-tiling mode, and full-screen window expansion. The code is written in C++ and distributed under the BSD license. Features for creating visually appealing interfaces include gradients in window frames, background blur, animation effects, and shadows. Plugins can be added for expanded functionality, and socket-based IPC is provided for external control. Configuration is handled via configuration file with changes updated on the fly without restarting. Other notable features include dynamically created virtual desktops, on-screen layout modes, global hotkey handling, and touchpad/touchscreen gesture control. The latest KDE Weekly Development Report has been published, presenting changes for the KDE Plasma 6.7 branch expected to be released in June. KDE Plasma 6.7 is currently in a soft freeze. KDE Plasma 6.7 will include the new Union style engine, but it's unclear whether it will be enabled by default or remain a settings option. Union provides a unified style processing system that allows for use of various application styling technologies available in KDE. The engine consists of 3 layers: input, intermediate, and output. The input layer is implemented through plugins that parse input style file formats and convert them into abstract rendering descriptions. The intermediate layer is implemented as a library that describes the data model and methods for applying styles to each element. The output layer contains plugins that convert the universal style generated by the intermediate layer into rendering commands specific to a particular graphics stack. A new implementation of the Breeze theme formatted in CSS has been developed. The Lay project has been published. It helps correct words typed using the wrong keyboard layout in the GNOME desktop running on Wayland. The utility corrects the last word typed by double-pressing the Shift key. The code is written in Rust and distributed under the MIT license. At this stage of development, the program is in beta status. The project consists of a background process that works with evdev/uinput and a small GNOME shell add-on that enables layout switching in GNOME on Wayland. By default, the program runs locally and does not use the cloud, clipboard, or large language models. An experimental Tick Smart mode is available as an option, which uses a locally running AI model to automatically detect input errors. The project also includes a separate command line utility for converting text to a different layout. Support is currently focused on GNOME Wayland. Nocturne 1.0 is presented, a music player with the ability to manage a music library and connect to a network music service. The project code is written in Python using Libad Weta widgets and the GStreamer multimedia library and is distributed under the GPL v3 license. Ready-made builds are available in Flatpak format. It is known to play nice with Jellyfin. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. As usual, I'll be back next week.